Hey, you guys, happy Thursday, happy Friday Eve. I wanted to pop in and talk to you. Yes, it's a hat day. I wanted to, and then I love my shirt from Zeph Farnby that says Black women can never be overpaid. And if you know about the pay gap in this country, then you get the message because we are well underpaid in every demographic, every statistic across every job in comparison to white women, white men, and mostly everybody else that we work. You could be sitting right next at a desk, right next to the person. I've been there doing the exact same job as you, killing it, actually outperforming them, and still your base salary be less than theirs. And have better education, et cetera. So anyway, that's not what I came in to talk about today. So came in to talk about grind and growth because I posted this morning. I usually historically, I've shied away from posting about money and receipts and how much money I make. So a lot of it I know comes from my upbringing and my mom and teaching me about being private about those type of matters, and also thinking it, not, being of class to discuss your earnings on social media. But we have entered into this world where people are showing fake receipts, and we have entered into this world that people are throwing up some real receipts. And we have entered into this world of people calling themselves wealth coaches and starting wealth groups and, all of these six-figure strategy situations. And a majority of them have never seen six figures in their life. And so I don't know how someone can teach you how to get someplace that they've never been. That baffles my mind. And so, it's one of those things that I kind of, like starts to bother me. So then I'm like, you know what, Sean, you probably should speak on it because you have the experience, you have had the earnings for a majority of your career. You established that very early on. And truth be told, only about 4% of women in this country actually earn six figures. Because even if on paper it says you earn $100,000, by the time you take out your benefits and you take out your 401k and you take out all of the other things that come out of your check, taxes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like what is your net income versus your gross income? And so I can flat-footed say that I have netted six figures, not just gross six figures, which is a completely different thing to do. And I did it when I was in corporate America, and I've done it as an entrepreneur. And so I'm all about content. So this morning, I posted all these different pictures. They're all on the beach in different places in different cities. It was really to grab people's attention about the possibilities. And so I mentioned that, you can easily master social media and become a social media manager and, take that grind into growth and glean six figures off of it. But I wanted to give some background because my DMs blew up. People were asking me in the comments, like, okay, can you teach me how to do this? And someone said, does everybody you teach end up being there? Like, nah. That's like when you're in college, everybody you teach doesn't retain the information. Everybody you teach doesn't pass the class. Everybody you teach doesn't go out to do the work. And so, no. However, I can say that I have a proving ground that people that have taken it seriously and done the work and mastered the craft, absolutely they have. And that's just the starting point. I know individuals that have surpassed my earnings. And I will say that most of us that start off managing social media usually pivot into some other things as well. So just a little bit of background. When I started the PowHER Network, it started out about events, and it started out about, empowerment, and it's still about that. However, it's rare that you're going to make six figures, which is what I was used to leaving corporate America, throwing events strictly to empower women. It's just, truth be told, what happens is the event market becomes oversaturated. People start moving around. And so, although I wasn't in a deficit on events, it definitely was not maintaining the quality of life I want to live. And let me digress and say that there are some people that make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 that are excellent savers, that are excellent at budgeting their money, and that live a better lifestyle than a lot of people, than those few people, I should say, that make six figures. And so success, I always say, is relative and objective, and it's about what's important to you. And so I don't want you to get caught up in the 6-figure, 7-figure, 8-figure craze that's on social media, because truth be told, a lot of what you're seeing is flash and flamboyance and credit card debt and business lines of credit being run up that eventually have to get paid for, et cetera. And it's not to say that everybody on social media is bragging and fronting. Some people really have become self-made millionaires, or some people really are maintaining, growing, and sustaining a 6-figure lifestyle, but they are strategically doing it. So when I said easily, I probably was a little, that was a little content management with that word, because there's no way to make 6 figures easily. I learned that in corporate America, and I've definitely learned that as an entrepreneur. It is something that you have to work at every single day. And even managing social media is not easy. A lot of people come to me, to manage their social media because they're like, yo, this is a whole job. Like, how do you manage multiple people's pages? It's a gift that I have. I mean, if I showed you my phone and how many companies' pages that I manage and how many posts that I have to schedule and how many times that my brain has to think for different genres of business in a day, on top of my own content creation, you would be surprised. On top of coaching individuals who maybe can't afford to retain me monthly to manage their social media, but are looking for me to help them get started on and teach them on how to manage their own. And so I'm not going to pretend like I'm not gifted in that area, but because I am gifted in that area and I do have a certain level of expertise in that area, I am able to teach those who are interested in learning. And so I take pride and joy in doing that. I do it with my clients. I do it with students. I do it with organizations, and so on and so forth. And I see my work out in the street. And, one of my mentors told me a long time ago that I'm teaching when I don't even realize it. Meaning, people out there, they not giving you no credit, but they out there jacking what you're doing or following suit or watching you to see what the next big thing is. And, it is what it is. When you have a great idea, expect it to be emulated, imitated, copied, hopefully not stolen, etc. So anyway, how do you go from grind to growth? First of all, people will treat your business in the same way you treat your business. And so, I mentioned in the post, like, contract these individuals. Don't go in to a handshake agreement of I'll manage your social media for this much money and that they can drop out at any time. I have contracts with stipulations in them with you have to give me 30 days notice. I have a 4 clause and without clause contract. Like, I treat my business like a business. And so then, and I go in with enough time, because it takes a while to build a brand. It takes a time to build social media presence. And so if someone is trying to give me less than, let's say, 120 days to do something miraculous, like it used to be this commercial in Chicago for this play called The Beauty Shop. And I remember as a kid, the commercial would always come on GCI, and someone would walk in asking for a particular hairstyle, and they would say, girl, this is the beauty shop, not the magic shop. And that's how I feel sometimes when people are like, well, what can you do for me in 30 days? On social media, not much. Not much, unless, you already had a presence already there and I'm just inheriting what was already good, and you already have logos and good content and good pictures and good copy and a good tagline, and 9 times out of 10, if you're calling me, you don't have any of those things. And so, that's just to set it straight, that it is a job, it is a work, and you have to stay on your feet, you have to stay agile, you have to stay innovating, because the last thing you want is to be so mundane and so routine that the client feels like, well, you didn't really give me anything innovative or new to do, so I can go ahead and do it myself. Or, what happens in a lot of times is, it will be innovative and it will be something that they didn't think of themselves, and it will be something that they couldn't have started themselves. But then, eventually people's money shift and it changes, and they continue to do the work you started. They continue to do the things you taught them, and they do it on their own because you've taught so well. And I take that as a compliment, because it's still my work and my ideas in action, but, it's their thing. And so I don't own anyone else's thing. The only things that I own are mine. And so when I talk about, getting to 6-figure earning, contracts are important. Being able to have monthly retainer contracts that your bills are paid off top. That's when you go from grind to growth. That's when you can look every day. It is not fun to be out here hustling every single day to pay your bills. It is not fun to not know where your next check is going to come from. It is not comforting. It is not smart. It is not it doesn't feel good. I know a lot of people live like this. I'm not built to live like that. I need to at least know that the roof over my head, the car under my feet, and the clothes and the food in my refrigerator is cared for. I need to know the cell phone gonna stay on. I need to know the Wi-Fi gonna stay on, because if it don't stay on, then I can't do my live videos. I can't do the work that's required for me to do for clients. There's a lot of limitations that happen if I'm not able to work at a certain capacity. And so there are certain things that are just priority. But then there's other things that aren't priority that I can cut back on, should the growth slow down. And that's the other thing too. Like, as an entrepreneur, things happen in ebbs and flows. I used to get really scared at the beginning, just to be transparent, when clients would leave, especially monthly retainer clients. I would be like, oh my God, they paid the gas bill. Oh my God, they paid the light bill. Oh my God, they paid the cell phone, et cetera. And what God has shown me, I'm a woman of faith, is He has shown me that He's faithful. And every single time someone leaves, someone else comes. I mean, it happens so quickly. I barely have time to breathe before someone else comes that I was not expecting and signs a long-term contract. And that is when your work starts to speak for itself. And that's when you've gone from grind to growth. If Tammy Belton Davis happens to be watching this, she spoke at one of my brand builder boot camps. I think it was cohort number 1. So we're talking 4 years ago. And she was talking about like how she was not into grinding. She said, because if you think about grinding, anything that you grind, like the thing is like I have a coffee grinder to grind up coffee beans. If I over grind it, then I could grind it to a pulp. I can grind it so granularly that, I use a French press now. I'm fancy. Someone gifted me one. That if I grind it too finely, then it is not usable in the French press, and I'm not going to get the quality of coffee nor the cup of coffee that I'm hoping to get on a day after day basis. And so the same thing can happen to us as individuals when we are out here just steady grinding. Now, don't get it twisted. Nipsey Hussle, all my life, grinding all my life. Like, that's my jam. I love grind hype songs because every day I am up grinding it, but it's not just the grind. So I'm out here grinding, prospecting, doing business development in order to make sure that I am bringing on new business, because old business is not guaranteed, especially once you come into the end of a term, end of a contract, et cetera. Or, some people will just, in this day and age, go out of business. Like and I'm not like, what am I going to do? Sue you? And you went out of business? Like, I'm not that cold-blooded. So it depends on the circumstances. And so that being said, I would just say that we all have the skills to pay the bills, just like I said yesterday. And so what could you do? Like, this is something I realized I was gifted in and I could do while I still have my day job. And because of all the apps that allow you to schedule, and now Facebook allows you to schedule within, but back then it was Hootsuite and all these other things. And, and the fact that I would spend all day Sunday, like scheduling, planning content for clients and thinking things through. And I would have all kinds of content saved on my phone. I still do. Now we've come to I've got 11 years worth of memories out here. So a lot of things that I post, even if I'm not feeling well, or if I'm having a super busy day, I'll repost something that I posted 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, as if it's a new thought, because guess what? I've got new followers. I've got new clients. I've got a new audience. I've got people. And even if there's the same people, they don't remember what I posted 10 years ago. And so then it's just smart to curate content. And sometimes the curation of the content is your own old content. And so I just want to encourage anyone watching this live, or if you watch the replay, to sit back and think about areas you're gifted in, to sit back and think about things that people are always reaching out to you for help with. Sit back and think about things that you could do in your sleep. And right in there could be an additional stream of income, an additional source of income. And, don't forget the part when I said master your craft. And so when I decided to do this, I went back to school and brushed up on the latest and greatest. I am constantly reading, listening, learning to books, podcast. I'm listening in Clubhouse. I'm watching YouTube. I'm listening to TED. Like, I'm constantly trying and focus. I'm reading trade magazines. I'm doing whatever it takes to stay on top of what's happening in the industry so I can be a value add to clients and to people, and so they can trust that I know what I'm talking about. And if you're not willing to do the homework and the pre-work and the post-work and everything that it takes to get it done, then that may not be the grind to growth strategy for you. But if it's something that you know that you enjoy doing and that you're gifted in doing, and it's something that you can do while doing your day job, or if you're like me, it's something that you do so well that it ends up working you out of your day job, then go for it. Go for it. Like, go for it. Like, the sky is not the limit. It's simply the view. And you're not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. He's waiting on you to stop being afraid. He's waiting on you to execute. He's waiting on you to, so many people I know have built websites, got logos created, did this, and that, and they have not executed that thing. They're sitting on it because they're still overthinking. They got analysis paralysis and trying to figure out what's the right time. The time, it's your time and it's your turn. And you know what? Guess what? It wasn't always easy. I made mistakes along the way. We all do. I had to reset. I had to, when I first launched, I launched under CW Business Consulting, and that stood for Sean and Wesley Business Consulting. And, nothing marketable about that. It was very formal. There was nothing, to connect to humans about that. I mean, that was just very self-focused on our names. And it also was focused on trying to feed my husband's ego, point blank and period, and trying to pull him along for what God gave me, not us. And so, and just to keep it 100, that never works out. What God gives you is yours. And if, like I know some amazing couples out there that has become ours, and he's given them the same vision at the same time, that is phenomenal, but that was not our story. And so, then I went on because, I had named it that, but I was the only one doing the work. And I continued on and eventually rebranded under PowHER, and the rest is history. And so figure out what you got to do to take care of you. Figure out how to take your grind to grow. Take your business seriously, because people will only take it as serious as you take it. We don't, we show people how to treat us. We show people how to treat our business. We show people, so many people always ask me, like, when you do stuff for free for so long, how do you make that shift, especially with family, friends, et cetera, of, them used to you doing it for free to now all of a sudden you want to get paid? Well, guess what? My DM, my email, my text messages blow up every single day with someone asking me a question, looking for free game, which I give out free game via these live videos all the time. And I will easily, because this is my livelihood. This is how I care for my children. This is how I pay my bills. This is how I maintain a living. So I would be doing myself a disservice. I would be caring about them more than I care about me if I didn't say, oh, it sounds like you need a coaching session. Did you know I had $99 PowHER hours out there? And if the person is serious, they'll pay. And if they're not, then I'm not the one for them, because they were looking for a freebie, and I don't got freebies to give, because for everything I say yes to, I'm saying no to something else. And usually that no is to my kids, or it's to paying client work, or it's to doing a live so I can continue to impact lives, impact commerce, impact businesses, which does nothing but bring more business back this way. It is saying no to self-care, to yoga, or today the Peloton app announced that they got Pilates out there. I'm excited about that. And so, there's just different things that I could be doing. And so treat your business like a business. Be a businesswoman, be a businessman. Like Jay-Z said, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. So this is a business. And so I conduct business on a daily basis, and that's serious. And for so many people, they let their personal lives, they let their emotions rule them when it comes to business. They let their pride and their ego get in the way. Like, I don't care if my name on it. I don't care if the PowHER Network did it. I don't care if you ever say Chantel McKenzie. All I care about is, did you pay the invoice? Did the check clear? And did the work get done in excellence? That's really it. Because at the end of the day, when you do good work, people are going to ask who did the work. And even if they don't ask, when you're a person of faith, which most of the people who watch these are, then he's got you. He's got you. And so when we start worrying about people knowing whether we got the credit and how did this work, and we start worrying and we start worrying about other people's money and other people's pockets and what they doing, or lose sight of our own focus because we focusing on what everybody else is doing, that's when you lose money. That's when you lose opportunities. That's when you lose important relationships. That's when you lose divine connection that, could have taken your business and catapulted it. And, I get so frustrated when I connect with people that I know that I was, that I wanted to sincerely, I can't even say that I was meant to, but I wanted to sincerely help. And, for whatever reasons that had nothing to do with business, they decide to move, or they got too full of themselves, or pride or ego or something personal got in the way. And it's like, yo, I'm talking about making money. You told me you wanted to make money. And so business is never personal. And, that Elon Musk quote that went all crazy on Clubhouse when it said, what advice would you have to a young entrepreneur, looking, I'm paraphrasing now, on how to start or something like that. And he said, if you need advice, you're not meant to be an entrepreneur. And, it said, what would you say to inspire a young entrepreneur or something? And he's like, if you need inspiration, then you're not meant for entrepreneurship. And that is the honest to God truth, because at the end of the day, a lot of days, or most days, your inspiration is going to have to come from within, and you're going to have to believe in yourself, and you're going to have to believe in what it is that you do. And you're going to have to push yourself to get out of bed. You're going to have to push yourself to do the work. You're going to have to push yourself to study. You're going to have to push yourself to be your best self, because at the beginning, it's just you. And then hopefully you grow a team. And sometimes those teams are only there for a season. And so then it's back to being just you. And so if you're, it's not to say you do it by yourself. It's not to say you don't have collaboration. Not to say you don't have cross pollination with people, but I'm talking about like day in and day out. And the majority of the time it's you. And so that being said, like, you have to learn how to find inspiration from within, whatever that is. All right. Take it from grind to growth. 6 figures. Remember, only 4% of the people in the country really, 4% of women actually get there. And so I would say, if you're hiring a coach, if you're hiring a consultant, et cetera, and they telling you they got a 6-figure mastery schedule to show you, be like, where your P&L sheet? Can I see you? Look, where did that happen? They ain't got to show you their taxes. That's private. But they should be able to talk to you about, you should be able to tell, receipts talk, excuses walk. All right, y'all. Peace, love, power. Nobody can take you where they haven't been. So choose the right folks. Bye.